Hey guys, want to show your support to the channel and get some awesome rewards at the same time? Then go check out my Patreon page where at whatever tier you choose that fits your budget, you'll get plenty of rewards such as updates and announcements on the regular, exclusive sneak peeks of my videos before they go up online, get yourself credited, and receive a special shout out at the end of my videos and more. Go to patreon.com/AckleyAttack44227TV to start pledging today. And don't forget to also check out and consider gifting me any items I have listed on my Amazon wishlist and even supporting me on my Streamlabs tipping page that'll also help support the channel directly. Links are in the description box below as well as on my link tree for you to check out. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Take care. Hey guys, like what we do on our channel and want to see more videos from us? Then not to worry about a thing. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as turning on the notification bell so that way you can see more of our videos coming up very soon. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Hey guys, this is SamAttack4427 here with a brand new video for all of you guys, and well, I guess it's quite obvious that I'm here for another response/rant video as expected, and well, unlike the last several ones I finally got around to for sure, this one I've been long overdue to officially talk about for sure because, well, let's face it, I might have gotten sidetracked by other things that I never really got the time to actually talk about certain subject matters that pop up for sure. Right up until now, from what I can gather. So yeah, if by any chance I jumped into this a little too late, I do indeed apologize for sure, but I'm making it up for it now because, well, hey, better late than never, I assume, and yeah, I guess pretty much for today's topic for sure, I guess quite fitting enough, seeing how not too long ago I've released my brand new What the Pickup episode on, of course, the Bachmanster Topham Hatt's car, which I really love for sure, and let's not forget to mention, I did pretty much did do pretty much a good number of pretty much rant videos very recently on, of course, some Bachman Thomas stuff that pretty much we're going to be getting later on for sure, including of which is, of course, very recently the cancellation of course, the Bachman Thomas 80th anniversary set, to which is such a shame by far, but I guess if anything, I guess to help liven things up a bit, I'm pretty much long overdue to officially talk about this subject matter, and well, I figured now would be a good time for me to finally talk about this one for sure. Now, if you may recall, a few months ago, pretty much during pretty much a Thomas event that happened in Japan, one of the well-known model train companies by the name of Kato has officially revealed their own one of their own Thomas models that they're going to be releasing pretty soon. With by far the most interesting one for sure would have to be pretty much their small little N scale, or I guess in this case 009 scale version of course one of the narrow gauge engines, which is of course Duke, and yeah, I think pretty much of anything this has actually sparked a good number of fans actually talking about this one for sure, and boy, I guess with what they've actually seen, yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that Kato is really nailing on the head and finally jump on board, and of course I'm making some good Thomas merch for sure, because let me tell you, Duke actually looks really nice from what I can gather, so yeah, I think it's what I can say, of course, that front, so yeah, and you might be wondering to yourself, wait a minute, Kato is finally making some Thomas & Friends models? What took them so long? Well, trust me, I'm actually asking the same question pretty much as you are right now, because yeah, it's hard to believe that pretty much if anything, I am fully aware of course, Kato for sure. In fact, if anything, I know usually stick to, of course, other well-known model train companies that of course, pop up for sure, which is, of course, Bachmann, Hornby, Lionel, just to name a few for sure. But Kato, on the other hand, I never really double into for sure from what I can gather. No, I'm not saying they're actually bad in any way. In fact, they've actually released a good number of models for sure that are actually very nicely done for sure. Hell, I dare even say pretty much on my local hobby shop that I actually go to every once in a while does actually carry some nice cargo trains for sure. And I gotta say, looking at them up close and personal, they actually do look nice for sure. But I'm not saying it's something I would get into fully, as they're pretty much not really my thing as of now, but I do have to say that Kato has actually made some really good models for sure, and I highly doubt I'll ever pick any of them up anytime soon for sure, but I'm actually impressed with, of course, what I've actually seen from them, and they actually do have some really good quality models for sure, so yeah, I think it's what I can say, of course, that front. And I guess pretty much of anything, it's kind of actually strange for me to hear that they're finally jumping on board, of course, making some nice Thomas models for sure, to which again, I think probably the only model railroading company that we can rely on for any good Thomas models for sure is, well, basically again, Bachmann, Hornby, and Lionel. The second one in particular has actually discontinued their Thomas range for sure, but I'm glad to see that despite a few faults, Lionel is still trying their best to keep their Thomas range going despite a few struggles here and there for sure. Which means I guess Bachmann is still reigning supreme as of now, and when it comes to the lager, I always rely on getting some really great models for sure. In fact, I dare even say, on top of course, getting some new track and stuff to replace the ones that I currently got to really get my layout where it needs to be. I'm still collecting all sorts of Thomas models that I never really actually owned for sure, and clearly have been missing out on for sure, so yeah, I think it's what I can say on, of course, that front for sure. So again, it is kind of strange from what I can gather that Kato is finally releasing some Thomas models for sure. But at the same time, though, I really do think they pretty much got them out at perfect timing, pretty much given to the franchise's 80th anniversary this year for sure. So again, better late than never, I assume, but I'm glad to see that they're actually putting out some good models for sure, or at least starting to actually put out some good Thomas models for sure. Now, when it comes to their Duke model that they actually got for sure, that I will have to say, I know a lot of people are saying that they're really excited for Kato to release their own take on Duke for sure, and well, I guess to be honest, yeah, I have to agree with a good number of people. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. I do have to agree with a lot of people. I have to say, yeah, I'm sorry for saying that wrong. I didn't mean to. So, but yeah, I do agree with a lot of people. I have to say that yeah, with what Kato has done with, of course, pretty much their own take on Duke, it actually does look amazing for sure, and I guess it's no big surprise that when it comes to the narrow gauge engines throughout the history of Thomas and Friends for sure, I guess there's no doubt in my mind that out of all of them, Duke, I have to say, is definitely one of my favorites for sure, and yeah, much like with, of course, old Slow Coach appearing in Season 5 for sure, Duke is, of course, definitely a massive standout during Season 4 of the show for sure, and And yeah, I do find it such a shame that they didn't utilize him more in later seasons from what I can gather for sure. And he is definitely one of those characters that I really do felt are incredibly underrated and not really utilized quite well in the later seasons for sure. So yeah. But either way, despite all of the hang, I really do think Duke actually is a massive standout for Season 4 of the show for sure, and definitely pretty much a really underrated character for sure that we clearly missed out on for sure. Now, I'm not saying that he deserves to be forgotten for sure. No, not at all. Pretty much every once in a while, he would actually pop up in a good number of Thomas merch that we would actually get for sure. Hell, I dare even say a good example of that is, of course, pretty much having Duke in Thomas merch after his appearance in Season 4 would have to be the Trackmaster version of him that came out years and years ago for sure. And yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that I really do think Trackmaster did a really great job in making Duke who he is for sure. And I'm impressed with, of course, what I'm actually seeing. And hell, I still have him in my collection even to this day for sure. So yeah. So I guess either way, I think with what I'm seeing with Kato, with what they're doing with Duke for sure, I have to say I am actually really impressed with, of course, what they actually did for sure. I think the way they actually tried to actually make him look like the character himself, like he was in the show, actually pretty nice from what I can gather. So yeah, I can tell that Kato has really put a lot of hard-working effort in, of course, making Duke the best that he can from what we've actually seen, and given to all that, yeah, they really put in a lot of hard-working effort to make him look amazing for sure. So yeah, pretty much, if anything, the detailing and, of course, the way he's shaped out is actually very nicely done. The face for Duke is 100% like how he looks in the show for sure. And even the paint scheme, I'm not gonna lie, really is very nicely done and actually fits, of course, what we're looking for with Duke for sure. So yeah, either way, I think given to, of course, what I'm actually seeing for sure, I really do think Kato is actually putting a lot of hard-working effort to really make Duke absolutely really great for sure. And given to all that, yeah, I do have to applaud Kato for actually doing exactly that for sure. So yeah, and I guess it is quite fitting that I actually mentioned that for sure, because if anything, pretty much since I actually did mention Bachman for sure, aside from the Thomas models they're making in HO for sure, they've actually been pushing pretty hard with, of course, their N-scale pretty much range for sure ever since they've first released the narrow gauge engines for sure. You name it, going from, of course, Skarloey to Rheneas to, of course, Peter Sam, and of course Rusty, and of course later on down the road we'll actually get Sir Handel for sure. So yeah, and that's just to name me a few from what I can gather. And yeah, I guess I knew ever since pretty much they first came out for sure. I actually did express interest in getting the narrow gauge engines for sure. And I mean, sure, I'm still gonna have to get some, of course, some N-scale track from Bachman in order for them to work properly. But I'm excited to see on pretty much how they fare up once I do get them in my hands for sure. It's only going to be a matter of time from what I can gather, but I'm still looking forward to it nonetheless for sure. And I do have a lot of strong hope by far. So I guess if that were the case with, of course, all the narrow gauge engines that Bachman has actually released for sure, I do hope for the same thing that for Duke as well, because, well, I guess pretty much of anything, since they since Kato is actually based in Japan for sure, they of course have to make their N-scale trains as of course pretty much 009 gauge for sure, to which actually does make sense from what I can gather. So yeah, and let's not forget to mention, aside from the narrow gauge engines, I've been thinking long and hard, of course, getting some of the Thomas models released in their N-scale range for sure. So yeah, I mean, I guess I pretty much had no intention on, of course, getting them for sure, because I still want to stick with, of course, HO when it comes to the main Thomas models for sure. But the more I thought about it, I've actually been wanting to, of course, jump in on, of course, the N-scale Thomas range they actually got, and just to easily see on how they compare to, of course, the HO ones that they actually got. That alone is, of course, what made me want to think long and hard about getting the Thomas range in N-scale for sure. So we'll definitely have to wait and see later on when the time is right for sure. But either way, I'm looking forward to it hands down for sure. So yeah. And of course, let's not forget to mention, for some of the models that Bachmann is releasing their N-scale lineup for sure, I do want to also see some of the ones that they only make exclusively in N-scale to also be made into HO as well. And again, just to see how they compare for sure, because, well, that's what I'm looking for in a nutshell. So yeah. But I guess either way, stepping aside from all that, when it comes to Kato's Duke model that they actually got, I'm still looking forward to it as of now, and I really do think there's a whole lot of potential from what I can gather, and I really do think it is actually going to be really great for sure. And again, I guess if anything, Duke is of course one underrated Thomas character that that's never been utilized nowadays for sure. So yeah, but I do hope that with, of course, this and other bits of merchandise from him and all the other underrated Thomas characters that we actually got, maybe they will finally get a whole lot more love and appreciation for sure, in a way that we actually do love and admire from what I can gather. So yeah, it's only going to be a matter of time, but I do think it will be something that we can actually get ourselves in for hands down. So yeah, and you might be wondering to yourself, if I ever do get Kato's Duke model that they actually got, will I actually be able to work with some of the track and trains I got that are released here in America? Actually, yeah, there is a possibility, because yeah, when you really think about it, I did learn from, of course, the owner of the hobby shop I always love going to for sure. He has actually told me that Kato trains in whatever scale they actually work on for sure. They actually can work on a regular Bachmann track for sure. So yeah, I think I should be in good hands, and of course, getting the Duke model for sure. And yes, I am fully aware he is going to be released exclusively in Japan for sure, and currently, as of now, it is slated to be released right around this September. That'll be coming up. So yeah, I am fully aware of that for sure. But don't worry, once I actually do find a good listing for sure, and if it ever does make its way over here in America, I would definitely love to get my hands on it for sure. So yeah, and of course, when it comes to pretty much running Kato trains on Bachmann track, that's actually what I've actually learned for sure, and yeah, I think I should be in good hands with what I can gather. It's kind of like, let's say, for example, what I currently have my, pretty much my duck model for sure. That's made by Hornby for sure, to which, yeah, even to this day, I still think it's, of course, the first and so far only Hornby Thomas model that I actually got, and I guess if anything, since this was released, this was, of course, pretty much made in 00 scale for sure, it's able to work great, of course, on my Bachmann HO train track for sure. So yeah. I guess either way, I'm in good hands, and of course, with why Gaga with my Hornby Duck for sure. I really do think they really did a fantastic job with this for sure. And yeah, despite this being the only Hornby Thomas model that I currently have for sure, I really do think it is actually a great model for sure. And I'm glad to see it does work on my H.O. Thomas Sega for sure. And even from the looks of it, from what I can gather looking back, it's still a really fantastic model for sure. And don't worry about a thing, I will get the Bachmann version of Duck later on down the road for sure. So yeah. Yeah, probably, I guess, once I do, I will not give up, of course, the Hornby Duck for sure. It is still a treasured model that I still have in my hands for sure, ever since my mom got it for me, well over 15 years ago when she went on a trip to London for sure. And yeah, I'm still in love with it even to this day, so. But yeah, either way, it's not going to stop me from, of course, getting the Bachmann version of Duck anytime soon for sure, because, well, if I can't have, pretty much, if I can't sell the Hornby version and get the Bachmann one instead, I can actually have both models for sure. So yeah, let's put you back, so yeah. I think it's what I can say, of course, that front. So if that's the case, I can definitely make the same argument for Duke for sure, that Kato is actually releasing for sure. And again, it will be out right around this September, but it's only going to be released exclusively in Japan for sure. So yeah, and I guess pretty much if anything, if it ever does make its way onto over in America for sure, I would definitely love to get my hands on it for sure. Maybe I might be able to do so once I finally do get all the other narrow gauge engines that Bachmann is releasing for sure. So yeah, either way, I'm excited to see what Kato's take on Duke will do anytime soon for sure, because yeah, it is definitely one Thomas character that deserves a whole lot more love and appreciation for sure. So I do hope they'll finally do it justice for sure. So yeah. And now you might be wondering to yourself, if that's the case for a Duke, how do I feel about the new faces for the Bachmann Thomas that's also coming out around the same time? Well, to be honest, I do have an unpopular opinion for sure. Now, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. The new faces that they actually got for the Thomas, for the Bachmann Thomas model does look really good for sure, and it is actually nicely done. But I don't think it's actually well worth purchasing as of now for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say for my unpopular opinion for sure. I mean, yeah, I do think the new faces for the Bachmann Thomas is actually really good, but I don't think it's actually well worth buying on my parts for sure. I mean, let's really bear this in mind, and if I can pull it out as a good example. Yeah, I guess if anything, even to this day, I still love what Bachmann has done with, of course, Thomas the Tank Engine ever since they first started with, of course, their range for sure. And even with the face as shown in the pretty much Bachmann Thomas with speed activating sound as a good example for sure, I really don't think it's actually well worth replacing anytime soon for sure, because yeah, honestly, that is, of course, the one thing that really is pretty much the one thing that we really do love and admire for sure. And just to see it taking away, I think would be a massive letdown for sure. I mean, I guess pretty much if anything, you can actually, yeah, maybe instead of replacing the face altogether, maybe I guess we should settle on some alterations that Bachman has done while still keeping the love and the spirit of course, the face they actually used for Thomas when they first started. And I really do mean that for sure, especially with, of course, the mouth and, of course, the eyebrows as a good example of what I mean for sure. So yeah, and again, Hornby has actually done that when they used to do their Thomas and Friends range for sure. They still stuck with what they did when they first started for sure, but with a few modifications here and there to giving a massive update for sure. It still stands out quite well for sure. So if that's the case for Hornby, I think the same thing can be said with Bachman with their Thomas for sure. So yeah, but like I said, Kato has actually done a great job with, of course, the new face for the Bachman Thomas for sure. But truth be told, I really don't think we're actually pretty much we're going to be purchasing that for sure because, well, I really don't think it's actually worth it for sure because, hey, nothing could actually replace this for sure. And of course, pretty much if anything, another thing that does fear me that if people do actually get the brand new Bachman Thomas face for sure, is that I think it would actually pretty much not only take away, of course, what they've actually accomplished with, of course, this one. But it will also take away the moving eyes mechanism that they implemented with every single one of their models for sure. Well, except for the majority of the narrow gauge engines. And also Bo. Yeah. So I guess roughly 98% of course, the Bachman Thomas models that we've actually got for sure do actually have the moving eyes mechanism whenever we run them for sure. And to be honest, I really do like that mechanism for sure. Yeah, I really do think it does signify, of course, what they did in the model series, and of course, having the eyes go around like they did in the show for sure. And again, I think Bachman has actually done a great job with that said mechanism for sure, because if anything, that cannot be beat anytime soon for sure, nor even topped from what I could gather. Now, I'm not saying pretty much of anything that Kato should probably scrap the new Thomas faces altogether. Oh no, I do want them to move forward with that. But the one thing I really do think that they should go back to the drawing board is that, well, again, pretty much the facial expressions from what I can gather, they do look great for sure. But maybe instead of course, pretty much making the eyes go alongside it, I say definitely cut out the holes and stuff where the eyes actually go for sure. So that way they can actually work around the moving eye mechanism that Bachman has actually released for sure. So yeah, if Bachman were to actually do exactly that for sure, then I think it will be well worth it, hands down. A great example on what I mean by that would definitely have to be Lionel when they actually release a good number of models in their Thomas and Friends range for sure. I mean, sure, you still get the regular old faces that are included in for sure, but they also include a few different face plates in addition to that as well, so that way you can actually change up their expressions for sure. That would actually fit in well with, of course, what they actually got. So yeah. I guess if anything, if Lionel can do exactly that, then I think Kato would do the same thing for the Bachman Thomas models for sure. Just keep the facial expressions as they are, but cut out the pretty much cut out a couple of holes where the eyes would actually go, so that way they can actually correspond with, of course, the moving eye mechanism for sure. So yeah, I guess either way, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, on that front for sure. And again, I really do think Kato has actually done a great job with, of course, the pretty much the new faces for the Bachman Thomas that they're going to be releasing. But I guess with some things that I've actually find fault with them, and of course me being nitpicking on for sure, I really do think they should go back to the drawing board, hands down. So yeah, but that's just my opinion from what I can gather. And as for the figures and stuff on the one of the workmen and Sir Topham Hatt himself, again, they do look nice from what I can gather, and they do represent how they are right next to the engines. Again, much like with what they did in the Mongol series for sure. But again, I really don't think it's actually well worth buying, in my opinion, for sure. Hell, I dare even say I'm still setting my eyes on, of course, the brand new Bachmann H.O. Thomas figures that they just released for sure, just to really get that out there for sure. So yeah, pretty much of anything, I'm sticking to spending my money on, of course, those figures that Bachmann is actually released for sure, and I'm okay with that for sure. So yeah, but either way, regardless of course, that front, I do think Kato, yeah, I do applaud Kato for pretty much finally jumping on board and of course making some good Thomas models for sure. And for a while, I don't have plans to actually buy the new Thomas faces, nor even the new figures that they're releasing for sure. And again, I do think they should go back to the drawing board with all those. I do have high hopes for a Duke for sure. So yeah, will it actually finally pretty much make its way here in America after it's releasing Japan this upcoming September? Well, it's hard to say as of now, but if we can actually get a good listing for him for sure, then I think we should be in a great spot to finally get him in our hands for sure. And again, I do hope to actually get a Duke for sure for when I do finally get the narrow gauge engines. Yeah, for the narrow gauge engines that Bachmann is actually released for sure, especially some N-scale stuff, including the entire Thomas & Friends range, so that way I can correspond it with, of course, the existing HO scale for the Thomas & Friends range for sure. So yeah, but that's just mainly my opinion for sure, but yeah, we'll definitely wait and see later on down the road after September finally rolls around for sure. But I'm really looking forward to it, hands down, in its entirety, and yeah, whatever needs to be done to get some new Thomas models into the mix, I think we should be in good hands for sure. So yeah, and I guess on that thought alone, I think I'll definitely end this video here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this latest video, and by all means, let me know down in the comments on what you think of the new Thomas models that Kato was actually releasing, and of course, if you're planning on buying them for yourself, or you felt that maybe I think you should probably wait until another model railroading company would actually release them for themselves for sure, just to save the trouble. I would love to know on what you guys think. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Thank you guys so much for watching this latest video. And again, I do indeed apologize if I'm getting this out incredibly late for sure. But hey, better late than never, I assume. So yeah. And of course, if there's any other topics revolving around Thomas the Tank Engine that you think I missed out on for this year, for sure, that you think I should probably talk about, feel free to let me know, and I'll definitely look into it later on down the road. But until then, I know I've got plenty of other stuff that I need to do for sure, so I'll definitely leave you at that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and now if you'll excuse me, I'm finally gonna go and check out the new Superman movie that's officially out. So yeah, I'll definitely leave you at that. Take care. Special thanks to all of my supporters on Patreon for making today's video possible, including my top tier supporters for this month, VD. So if you want to be like these guys and show your support to us, then go to patreon.com/AckleyTackTV to pledge now, do so, and get some awesome rewards within your budget.
Hey guys, this is SamAttack4427 here. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Feel free to like, comment, and share if you enjoy what you're seeing. If you like what you see here and want to see more videos coming up, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and switch on the notification bell to get notifications and select all notifications to be notified for when we post a new video. And don't forget to switch on notifications on your phone as well. Also, don't forget to check out my second channel and our 2-member channel with Sam the Thomas Fan 1, SamAttack4427TheThomasFan1 Productions for plenty more content you can't find on here. You can check both of our channels out with the links or by our handles provided on screen. Feel free to shoot me an email with my email address provided, Ackley95@hotmail.com, if you want to ask me a question, want to collab with me for a project you've got in the works, or if you want to book me to be featured for a convention coming up. Follow me on my social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up to date with me on updates, announcements, and new releases of my videos, as well as plenty of others I've got with my handles provided, as well as the links down in the description box below. Also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok for other videos I've got aside from the ones I've posted on YouTube, and on Twitch for any future live streams I've got coming up soon, as well as join our official Discord server to see what we've provided. If you wish to show your support to me, then feel free to check out my Patreon to get sneak peeks of my videos coming up before they go up online, as well as getting access to updates and playing more in addition to getting some awesome rewards within your budget. Also, don't forget to check out and show your support to me on my wishlist on Amazon, and even supporting me at streamlabs.com/AckleyTackTV/tip that you can find in the description box below, as well as on my Twitch page. And in case you can't find any of the links that are provided, then not to worry about a thing. All the links and stuff are also provided on my link tree that you can also find in the description box below, as well as a few selected number of my social media pages. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video. Take care.